While watching Joker Folie do, I thought that this was going to be the video I was going to make. I love the beginning, how it just felt like Joker was just bored. Like there was nothing to spark his excitement or give him purpose until he meets Harley. Granted, I prefer if it was Batman, but that's beside the point. The musical numbers never really bothered me. Were they random? Sure. Could I have gone without them? Absolutely. But they never bothered me because it was part of Joker's delusions. I was fine with that. Lady Gaga, I thought was cool as Harley Quinn, until she wasn't, and I'll get to that later. The courtroom scenes were fantastic. I mean, yes, it is definitely the best parts of the movie, but everything in between I was okay with because it was building the Joker up more and more. And watching it, I was really excited at the idea of watching this movie back to back with the first Joker on occasion. For me, this was going to be a solid 8 out of 10, or at least a 7, until he got sexually assaulted by the guards of Arkham Asylum. And accompany that with the ending where he gets murdered by some random dude that was hinted out throughout the movie. But as Joker is dying, you see the man like in the background carving a smile on his face. And then looking back at the movie, this whole entire thing was a giant middle finger to those who actually loved the first movie, and to middle finger to Arthur Fleck. And I'm not the only one who says this. Other outlets like Screen Crush have said the same thing. The movie tries every which way to make Arthur weak. There's a scene where he has sex with Harley and he prematures, which is weird. And he doesn't get justice on the guards. Nothing happens to the guards. They get off scot-free for what they did to Arthur, which is awful. Joker doesn't even murder anybody. He doesn't kill a single person in the entire film. I hesitate to call it that, but the entire movie. And I don't understand. This is a movie that really does hate its audience, and I've never said that before, ever. There's movies that don't understand its audience, absolutely, but I've never seen a movie that just hates where it came from. The entire movie tries so hard to undermine and make Arthur powerless, even though the first one was about making him more powerful, completely undoing everything that the first movie did, which is what a sequel should never do. Terminator 2 took the best parts of the first movie, not only ran with it, but made it more. It was so much more than just Terminator again. It was a mother-son story. John Carter wondering if his mom actually really loves him, or if she just tolerates him because he's the savior of the world. That movie had so much nuance and so much meat to it. So much more meat than the first movie, and I love both movies. I don't care what the movie is trying to say. This isn't me missing a point that like, oh, it's trying to deconstruct people's view on serial killers and worshiping the wrong people. It's a fictional character, dude. Come on. I don't know why this movie felt the need to make me feel bad for loving the first movie. Yeah, I liked Arthur Fleck. I love his Joker. I love seeing the rise of Joker. The thing that really pulled me to that first movie was like seeing Arthur's charisma and his confidence, and that's really cool to see. But that doesn't mean I want to become the Joker, just like Darth Vader. Darth Vader's my favorite all-time villain. I love seeing him kick some ass, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna emulate Darth Vader. I understand that there's some people who took the messaging wrong. I've met these people. There was one dude that I talked to who said like, I used to think that Joker was a bad guy, but after seeing the movie, I realized he's a really good dude. I'm like, what the fuck? First off, that's its own interpretation. It doesn't reflect on the other Jokers. It's a standalone entity. Second, just because you can feel sorry for somebody doesn't justify the actions that they did. He murdered a bunch of people and he liked it. That is somebody that should be standing on trial. That's somebody that should probably get the death penalty. I just wanted to enjoy a movie. That's all I wanted. I heard some bad reviews and I was enjoying it for what it was until the end. And then when you put the end in perspective, it was trying to tear down everything that the first one was. The first one to me was just a fun movie. Yes, it was commentary on the importance of mental health, but damn, it was a fun movie. And this movie just said, hey, you're stupid for liking that movie. Why would you like that movie? Are you stupid? I am all about letting a creator, a storyteller, tell the story that they want to tell in their own way, to actually try something new and different, trying to take risks, trying to do something new, something that no one's ever done before or would have thought to do. The difference between this movie and something like The Last of Us Part 2, while the game's story did not work for me, it was made by somebody who actually wanted to tell a story. Neil Druckmann knew that the choices that he was going to make will make people mad, but it wasn't done in bad faith. He doesn't hate his fans, he just wanted to try something different. Now again, those choices did not work for me, and that's fine, but it did work for other people, and that's fine. But I will respect Neil Druckmann because he wanted to try something new and different. Unlike Todd Phillips, where he just wanted to piss people off. And that's terrible. That is something I will never respect. Like I said, I was really thoroughly enjoying the movie until what happened to Arthur in the bathroom scene with the guards. It was utterly pointless. They could have just beaten him up, but then they decided to take it to the next level. For no reason. Why? Just to further the point home that he's utterly weak and that his actions have no power? You already made that point. Can you do anything fucking subtle? Sure, you don't get to see it, quote unquote, but it's incredibly heavily implied, which was just enough to give me fucking panic attacks all week. Why would you make a movie to purposely make people not enjoy it and piss them off? Your job as a storyteller, as a director, is to make a movie that people will enjoy, or at least a good chunk of them. Just because a movie does something different, does something bold, does not make it good. It's all about execution. A better anti-audience film was No Country for Old Men. It's anti-audience because it's not trying to be a more conventional, crowd-pleasing film. It was trying to tell a story, first and foremost. It doesn't check all the boxes that would make for a crowd-pleasing movie. Certain people don't get a happy ending, and certain people get away. It is a masterful film, especially because it's not trying to say, fuck you, to the people who are trying to watch it. It was a movie that took risks and went into directions that other movies would not have taken. And it really resonated with people, and has been talked about decades after the movie was released. This whole movie reminds me of Matt Rife. I thought he was generally funny, but he had a problem that the majority of his audience were women. Some of them were older women that just really liked looking at him. And he just didn't like that. So he made a special where he made jokes that would alienate the majority of his fan base. Because he wanted to be part of the bros. He wanted the boys to love his stand-up. By doing that, not only did he lose my respect, but he actually lost a lot of his fan base. Why would you do that? I don't understand why DC, Warner Bros., whoever, actually was okay for Joker to get violated in this way. Because they said no to the Penguin smoking in the Batman because that would influence kids. They said no to Batman going down on Catwoman in the Harley Quinn show because heroes don't do that. How does any of that make sense, but it's okay for Joker to have that done to him? I've never seen a movie hate its own existence before. Everyone's seen a movie that was made specifically for a cash grab, but this movie, it just hates itself. And also on the part of the ending, the fact that Joker, Arthur Fleck is not the Joker, the fact that they're trying to pass the baton to someone else, why is this a thing that people want? Even DC is trying to push, because this has happened before with Gotham, with Cameron Monaghan. I hope I pronounced that name correctly, but with Jerome Valeska. Jerome Valeska was perfect. He had the perfect origin story. The laugh, the charisma, everything was perfect. And then he gets killed off, and then it was hinted that someone else was going to be inspired by Jerome's actions and become the Joker. Why should Joker be a copycat? Joker should influence other people to become a psychotic, bloodthirsty maniac, not the other way around. I've never been more angry with a movie before, and I've seen some terrible shit. This movie was more disappointing than The Rise of Skywalker for me. I never understood why people didn't want Arthur Fleck to be the Joker. A lot of people, they thought that the first movie was not a Joker movie because he wasn't like a super smart criminal mastermind, which I think is ridiculous because, like what Jerome says, everybody has to start somewhere. This movie was about building him up to have the one bad day, because if you read The Killing Joke, if you take out the parts of the present day where it's Batman versus Joker and Joker trying to break Commissioner Gordon's mentally, you're focusing on the past stuff where it's before he becomes the Joker, where he had a wife and an unborn child and they were trying to make ends meet. He's a failed comedian. He's not a criminal mastermind yet. That was a perfect Joker story. It's the perfect Joker story. And I felt that the Joker movie from 2019 really kept that same energy from The Killing Joke and understood it perfectly while doing its own thing. Because Joker is the one character you can make any kind of origin story for. as long as it gets the cross of insanity and the one bad day, the day that breaks everybody. There's no reason that someone else should be the Joker. It's a stupid idea. It's pretentious. It's just, like, could you imagine if, like, Heath Ledger was the fake Joker? Like, I mean, you all complained about Iron Man 3 when it turns out Ben Kingsley wasn't the Mandarin, it was someone else. So wouldn't you be pissed off if that happened with Heath Ledger? That, like, he wasn't the Joker and it was someone else, even though he did a flawless job as the Joker? Why is there always a theory that someone else is the villain, right? There was a theory that, like, the Penguin from Gotham was gonna be the Joker, and that some random-ass fat kid was gonna aspire to be the Penguin. Why would you want that? Can't believe Todd Phillips humored that stupid fan theory that Arthur Fleck isn't the Joker, that it was someone else. Harley is supposed to be a insert of the audience about how they love the idea of Arthur Fleck as the Joker and not Arthur himself, which I don't really care about that. I don't like her because at the end, after Arthur, like, stopped being the Joker after being assaulted by the guards, he's like, I'm not Joker, I'm just Arthur. And she doesn't fight for it. She doesn't fight for it because Harley Quinn is a ride or die gal. That's somebody who you want in your corner. The fact that she doesn't try to fight for it, at least, like, fight for that fantasy, fight for him, trying to reinvigorate the Joker. She doesn't push him. She just gives up. And I'm just like, man, what a bitch. God, I want to go see Terrifier next week, and nothing that movie will do will make me feel worse than watching the Joker Folie Deux movie. I mean, already like Joker Folie Deux is worse than watching Art the Clown in the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2. I'd rather watch that on repeat for 3 hours straight while eating pizza and ice cream than ever watch Joker Folie Deux again. That's my review. 3 out of 10. Fucking hate this movie.